parts of this are true? And she was like, well, Gary Wayne's coming to town. And I was like, dude, here's what I want to know. I want to know with Greek mythology. I can't, this is why Taylor needs to do the interviewing, but my biggest question that I would love to answer with this show is like, what parts of Greek mythology are real? What parts are just completely maybe made up, or because it seems like they're different culture to culture, because some of the experts there were saying in one culture Greek mythology looks like this, and in another culture it's like this, and these gods did this. So I'm like, there is truth somewhere, and that's part of the hardest parts of the show, is how do we get down to the truth of what's real?
Yeah, it's such a good question, because you can take that to not almost all of the ancient cultures, that we have an oral tradition that starts in prehistory, and then it slowly starts to transition to some written history. And so prehistory is mostly an oral tradition, and so it's done in a way that's done in an interesting sort of narrative or a story.
Mm-hmm.
And so Herodotus in Greek mythology is kind of known as the first, let's say, legitimate historian, where he's trying to separate the difference between fable and fact. And that's what he starts to do. And then as it sort of comes downstream, what they would do is, as I say, they would put the history encoded into the story.
As a way to translate the facts.
Yeah, and so that it would be remembered, right? And so there's another fellow by the name of Humour, who is known for creating humorism. And what that is about is sifting through the myth to collect out the actual history that's held within that story. So what they're talking about is the Greek classics, right? And all of the information that's embedded in there, that there is a significant amount of fact and history woven into a story to keep people's interest, and people would remember it before it was written down. And that's part of Greek hermeneutics, which is unfortunately part of Christian prophecy to a certain degree, because it's a polytheist concept. To understand the allegory purposely woven into these stories, and you need to be an adept to understand these things. And it actually goes back to, etymologically wise, back to Hermes, right? So it's not a good Christian understanding. I'll talk a little bit more about that when we do the prophecy series that we're going to be working with you. But understand that this is a methodology to keep the history, then take it out so that people know what is actually real. So when we look at Greek mythology, it holds more than just the narrative. So there's a lot of interesting things that are in there around major events, major characters, major locations.
I can hear you.
Those are going to be accurate. So how would you compare that to what we're talking about in a modern style? You might want to look at it with what the Inklings did, whether it's MacDonald or whether it is Tolkien or it's Lewis. They call it mythopoetic. It's a little bit different, but it's kind of an evolution where they write a very interesting story with all of the religion, with all of the main characters, main events, and locations written into it. And that it's what they call the fairy tale concept, that you have to understand the meanings of the names, locations, characters, and other important things that they're putting in there. So that's the art of what they were drawing out. So when we look at the Greek gods that you were referencing to, we have gods in all cultures around the world in polytheism. These are the same gods. And so they just have different vernacular names. So when you're mentioning Zeus, for example, you would go to Egypt, and Zeus is a post-diluvian offspring god.
That means that's
why are you trying to pass on
rules
recessive
after the
genes
parent
to
god,
every woman on the
Kronos,
island?
as the chief male god. And those are two concepts people need to understand when we're looking at prehistory and mythology is that Ra, or Atum ruled before the flood in Egypt. Osiris rules after. Kronos before, Zeus after. The Canaanite pantheon that you mentioned, to lead off the question with, El is the parent god before the flood. Baal is the god after the flood. Baal is equal to Zeus. El is equal to Kronos. You go over to the Sumerian pantheon, you have Anu, which is the same as Kronos, El, Ra, and then you have Enki, Baal, Adonis, Zeus, Osiris, and just go around the world like that. So if you go over to the Quiché Maya, for example, with the Popol Vuh, you're going to have Quetzalcoatl, an offspring god, after the flood, equivalent to Osiris, who's one of the seven sages. So that's, but just to get people an understanding is, you can now start doing some dating based on who's the gods. But you have to be a little bit careful because as the offspring gods, they inherit not only the position, but the mythos of the god that they replace. So it becomes almost wedded into it. So an example of that is you have Poseidon as the god of the sea, which is part of the offspring gods in Greek mythology, who rules over Atlantis, right? And creates the 10 demigod kings for the world empire that he's trying to bring about. And so Poseidon, though, isn't really the god that does that, although we get Cleito as the female that creates Atlas and all the other 10 giant kings that go along with that empire to rule over it. Poseidon isn't the ruler before the flood. He's there before the flood, just like Zeus is, but they don't take over till they, in mythology, they say they overthrew the gods and they killed them. Well, you can't kill something, a being that's immortal. God might be able to, and does in the end time, the lake of fire, but they're not dead. They're like dead because they're in the pit prison. And that's how they move up. And so when they disappear after the flood, they're said to be killed, like Baal in the Ugaritic text. He dies. Well, he can't die. Where is he? Well, he did the same crimes as the parent gods before the flood. They're in the pit prison as well. Sometime probably shortly after Babel, do those offspring gods who take over get sent to the pit prison for the same crimes, and then you have other angels that move up, fallen angels, to rule over the council of the gods. So understanding that Zeus is a real individual, just known by a different name all around the world, starts to make some sense. And that's why you get a flood in all of the stories around the world, including Atlantis. That's why you get giants recorded all around the world. You get little people all around the world. You get pyramids showing up all around the world, dating back to the same age, and ancient cities, and on and on and on. Things that you cannot arrive at through mathematical probability as happening, and that secular history does not account for. And if you talk to somebody in Greece about their mythology and say it's mythology and don't expand on that, they're going to be offended.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Now, what's the counterpart to that in North America, the First Nations? They have an oral history, not a written history. It's done in the same way, and they have giants and little people and the flood and everything else, just like all cultures around the world, with the same four-class system in place, including a bloodline for the priests and the chiefs. And if you tell them that their history is fiction or myth, they'll be offended. They look at it as their history, but those who are running the civilization, the tribe, the nation, they will be able to understand what is story and what is fact. So we want to be able to try and glean out of that what is fact. And we get that because we get those same data points done in the same way all around the world, whether it's in the myth part or in the religious text.
Got it. Okay. I have a few questions to pick up after this. Some of these might be dead ends, but I'm just going to shoot my shot and go for it. The first question is, because you have all of these different cultures with the same stories, I think it's modern interpretation that everything existed in like the Middle East.
Mm-hmm.
How did we go from there to like a North American or like an American story, and then you have the Eastern mythology?
Mm-hmm.
Were there multiple peoples this entire time, or was there a disbursement that happened?
Biblically, we don't get that there's just one continent. You get a passage in the time of Babel that maybe you could interpret some of the language in there, that's when the continent's divided. Whether that, from what the polytheists would record as Middle Earth, for example, in the Lord of the Rings, right? As one island continent, and something happened to cause that. Maybe that's the flood, maybe it happened, the splitting of the continents way in the past, or maybe it was like that in the time of Adam. I mean, we're not specifically told that, so we want to be a little bit careful with that, because as we understand the land that Adam is ruling over, that's from the Euphrates to the Nile River, from Mount Hermon to the Red Sea. It's a large piece, right? But that doesn't mean it's all one continent. I mean, it's adjoined, even to this day, it's still adjoined to basically Africa and Asia and Asia Minor. So there could be other continents, and there certainly are other civilizations. So when Cain leaves when Cain leaves Adam and Eve, after Adam and Eve are ostracized from Eden, he goes east of the Euphrates River into Nod, a named place, which is
city.
Kind of an out of part fact, unless you understand that there's already more other civilizations and other peoples that I don't want to go down that rabbit trail, because it's like a show in itself, the difference between day 6 and the Eden account, and we've probably covered that on past shows. But we associate the Adamites with the Sumerians or the Blackheads and one culture. But that doesn't mean there weren't other cultures. We just aren't told that they're there. And I'm not saying we should look at it as fact that there was other civilizations, but there may have been. And we want to be aware of that. So in polytheism, there is more than one culture.
Chapter finale.
And depending on the history that you're looking at and who you're reading, you can go from 4 civilizations to 7 civilizations to 9 civilizations to 11 civilizations. So it's not exactly consistent in polytheism in the versions, but when you have the 9 continents or the 9 civilizations that you see in a lot of the modern sort of mythopoetic entertainment on TV, like the House of Dragon, for example, or not the House of Dragon, but the Game of Thrones, where the House of Dragon is basically what's being talked about there. You start to understand where that comes from. The constant would be probably more than 4 than just the 4 races that we would sort of distinguish today, or what the Popol Vuh and other religions would identify as the 4 peoples before the flood. 7 seems to be the most constant number of civilizations, and associated with 7 holy mountains in polytheism, just as we have those 7 mountains associated in the book of Enoch, which again, not scripture, but at least they start to get a little bit of a data point that maybe there might be more going on. Why would you have 7 holy mountains? Probably because you have 7 Satans in the book of Enoch. You have the 7 wandering stars around the world. So now you start to see that maybe there's 7 locations where you have 7 holy mountains and 1 central location for the council of the gods. So I think we should be open to the fact that there are multiple civilizations around the world that were significantly advanced that we're just catching up to today.
for now.
They messed up when they gave me this gun. This is one of my favorite guns.
Yeah.
Because he had 7 for the dwarves and 9 for the realms of men.
Yeah.
Okay, but how does that happen? If do you believe that Adam and Eve were the first of mankind?
No, I think
like, were these other civilizations human?
yeah, I do. I think when we look at Adam and Eve, that is accepted as doctrine that that's the creation of the first humans. Well, it doesn't really say that. We actually get people created on day 6. Now, is that the same creation as Adam and Eve as with day 6? And the likely answer to that is only if you believe the Bible contradicts itself. And I do not. And the reason why I say that is when you line up the details in Genesis 2 versus Genesis 1, they don't coincide together. So what happens is as a quick example, is you have male and female created in multiple and great numbers on day 6, told to multiply and to move around the world and settle the world as nomads. I would say hunters and gatherers.
He does make
the
party money.
description of the food, they start off as gatherers. I think they become hunters as well with the corruption by the fallen angels, which becomes so corrupt that you need a creation of Adam and Eve. But Adam is created in singular. Eve is created sometime later from the rib. And you might say, well, that's just an additional detail, which the Bible does do quite often, gives you part of the information and adds. But this is different.
Now you listening to everybody in the jail, all the jail things saying what they're saying.
And that you have the Spirit breathed
you repeating it, but you
Adam,
mad about him saying something about a rumor about you.
That's just the start.
Cardi didn't disprove, and nobody else disproved it
Adam
either.
and Eve story, you have Yehovah the Elohim introduced, where he's not formally introduced in Genesis 1. That's Lord God, as that's translated in the KJV. And you have the Ruach of the Elohim hovering over the chaos in Genesis 1-2. You have Elohim as when God commands as Elohim in the singular there, but you don't have Jesus. And I'm not saying Jesus isn't there. I'm just saying he's not formally introduced. But there's a difference here. Something is being specifically inserted with the involvement of Yehovah of the Elohim. So Jesus clears things up to a certain degree, so I don't leave people dangling on that. Is that in John 1 and 8, he says, he is the Word of God, right? He is the word logos of the God Theos. That's the cognate Greek version of Yehovah of the Elohim. Okay? Word, logos, God Theos in the New Testament. And he's also the light that the darkness didn't recognize in the beginning. And where does the light show up? It shows up before light with the sun and the moon. It shows up in Genesis 1:3 after the Ruach of the Elohim is introduced, and he's the light. That the darkness, the fallen angels, the destruction of what is that chaos there, don't recognize who he is. And yet he's there, and he is part of the creation, because in John 1 and in Colossians 1, Jesus creates everything. So the contradiction comes out when you go Elohim Amar. That is God in the singular in this case, in the superlative singular, and Amar is the Hebrew word said, or to speak. He's the word. God commands, the word creates. That's how the word creates everything. So something's new, something's really different. There's going to be this interaction with the Adamites that's not there with the people of day 6, just as it will be on the other side of the flood, where Yehovah of the Elohim is going to be the major one. Not that the Elohim doesn't, El Elyon, as we would understand him, or just straight El, or Abba, as Jesus calls him in the New Testament for Father. It's Jehovah who is there intimately almost all the time, all the way through, from Abraham through Israel, right? He's doing something special that he started with the creation and his introduction in 2:4. So now you get a different order of creation in day 2 than you do in day 1. If that was not day 2, if they're or in Genesis 2 versus Genesis 1. And you have other details that just don't sort of, coincide. So I won't litigate the whole thing, just but to give people an idea. I have a document for people on the differences one of my most popular documents I send out, where it walks through all of the differences. And then that starts to explain where the people came from in Nod, where Cain finds a wife that should not be there. And people say, well, it's a sibling. Well, it can't be a sibling because, as in a sister, because Seth is born when Adam is 130 years old. And then sometime later, you have other sons and daughters born but not named. It doesn't fit the chronology in terms of what happens in Genesis 2 and Genesis 3. And we don't know how long after day 7 when the Eden account is there, and you get the Toledoth that's going on, the Toledoth of the earth. Toledoth is genealogy, and we get that Toledoth or genealogy of Adam that shows up at the end of Genesis 4 and the beginning of Genesis 5. Same sort of language there, but an earth doesn't have a genealogy. This is a genealogy of the Adamites created for a special commission, because I think the whole earth had become corrupted by the fallen angels, including all of the people of day 6. Do we have an example of that? Yes, we have an unexplained being that shows up in Genesis 3.
I like how he's breaking this down, right? He's talking about chronology, right? He's saying that certain things only happen, and you can only teach certain doctrine if you can only teach a doctrine a certain way if you truly believe that the Bible contradicts itself, right? So if you don't believe that the Bible contradicts itself, then you have to go by the chronology of this thing, and you have to understand that Adam and them couldn't have been the first people here if the Bible doesn't contradict itself. That Adam's the first person, that's the same stuff that I be saying all the time. Adam couldn't have been the first person on the planet, or else that's a contradiction. But the Bible never said that he was the first person that was planet. He said he was the first person that was created on day 6. So that's why he keeps saying the day 6 people to put it in chronology. Yeah.
Called the serpent. The serpent is a beast of the field. The beasts of the field are created in day 6 before Adam, or before the humans that are called Adam as well. Adam takes the name of humans. He's the same species, might be a different race, but of the same species. So in 2 Peter 3, where we get a template for prehistory of this period, you have a day is 1,000 years. So if a day is 1,000 years and you have the beings of the field that are created before male and female, you could have up to 1,000 years difference. People might say, well, sun and the moon, 24 hours, that comes in about day 3 to 4. I think day 4, as I recall, doesn't explain the light that was there in Genesis 1:3, and you have creation going on before that.
Hold on.
So when does the 24-hour cycle start? Well,
because he's putting that in a different perspective than I've ever heard anybody put it. You remember how I was telling you that the way that the Sumerians talked about time, that the gods of the Sumerians talked about time, was as if a shar was a minute or a day or whatever kind of consequence it was to them. That was something small. But to us, as earthly being, that are people that are from Earth, they were considering that 1,000 years. So that's what they were saying, that Enki and them had lived there for so long that they looked older than their father because they had been there for thousands and thousands of years moving on the earth. So he's saying now that when it says that God created the world in one day, that a day is 1,000 years. It's arguable, but it makes a good point.
Is it stays consistent with the language and how things roll out. So yes, we have the firmament created with the sun and the moon, so that now we're going to have day and night. But that 1,000 years would go roll through the whole 6 days of creation, as Exodus 20 talks about. It needs to be consistent, right, in terms of how that plays out. So you could have 7,000 years happening before Adam shows up, and maybe even longer, because we're not given a day 8. And this serpent people, Nahash, as it's in Hebrew, has a source word Nahash, which means not just a serpent, but it means a necromancer. It means a sorcerer. It means words that are associated with polytheist priests and priestesses.
When your kid is hurting and there's nothing you can do about it, that's the worst feeling in the world.
I don't think anybody ever expects to hear that their child has cancer. It's always one of those things that happens to somebody else, but it definitely feels like your soul is sucked out of your body when they tell you that it's your baby. And you would do anything to get them to the best place that they can be for their treatment. And I knew with everything in my soul that that was St. Jude and that we had to get here. Everything about cancer is already so hard. I can't imagine how people do this without St. Jude.
I can't imagine.
My name is Hunter.
Being a person of color and not
This
having
is the one
access to
deceiving
St. Jude.
Adam.
They just
This
go
is
around
the
with
one that's
$1,000.
held up by polytheists to be the superior kingly race before Adam is created. That was taller than Adam and the size of a camel in terms of the height, as the Gnostics would describe the serpent. It's not Satan that's deceiving Eve, like most people think. In Ezekiel 28, Satan is said to be in Eden, but he's not seraphim there. He's not a serpent. He's the anointed cherub, a cherubim that is in Eden at that time. So he's there. He's just as Ezekiel 31 has him in there as the Assyrian or the great tree. But he's not in a serpent format. So he's probably the avatar of Nahash, or he's coaching him. He's involved, but he's not doing the deception. And it's the Nahash being that gets punished, right? So we've got a lot more going on. And that example of this serpent being a priest of polytheism now suggests that the fallen angels had set up their religion before Adam.
Oh.
And corrupted the earth, which may cause
That makes a good point too.
So mankind was created first and Adam was created after.
Yes.
As an individual.
Yeah. And
that's what I
Adam
always
is
said. The
placed in the
chronology
garden
on the
as
fall
an
was
agrarian,
always weird too, because they talk about it in 3 different spots in the Bible. And it's kind of hard for
a
you to
gatherer,
get
not a hunter,
a
and
chronology on it.
He is going to be raising, and particularly as you take it back to the Greek or to the Hebrew meanings of the words, he is managing a plantation, an agricultural plantation from the Nile to the Euphrates. They are raising domestic animals. They are planting crops, and there are orchards. And there's one of them. And then God relents and gives them one helper. It's still this massive place. But the point of the matter is, he's not a nomad. It's in contradiction to day 6. So the only way you get through that and how things start to make sense rolling forward, with all the details that I've provided, and there's more in the document that I can send people, is that there's 2 different creations of the humans. And we're seeing this cycle of fallen angels that continue to try and destroy humankind of all forms by leading them away from God and then destroyed into oblivion. That's their goal.
Okay. Are you good so far?
Yeah.
You look a little.
I'm trying to keep up the best I
little
can right
woozy.
now, bro. You
Okay.
seem like you're keeping up, so if I can follow you, I can follow Gary.
Great. Let me tie in. So, mankind is created as a species.
Yes.
Adam is made. Is Adam created sometime after day 7?
Yes.
Why do we think God created Adam if he already had? I'm assuming God's the one that created the species.
Yeah, God, with the word, when God said the word.
You're watching Coraline. Coraline has
Mommy, what's Daddy playing?
Machine learning is advancing, but businesses wonder if some machines can keep up.
Let's welcome our new coworker, Jeff.
Copier has a great idea.
Wonder if it's the same idea as yesterday.
Damn.
It's a performance issue, really.
People push your buttons, but you still have to deliver.
Anything can change the world of work. ADP Assist is AI, informed by workplace data, and is
When God created day 6,
I didn't have
I
enough
understand
shields.
he's Alpha
He's
and
talking slipping.
Omega. So he understands the beginning from the end. He knows everything that's going to play out and how it's going to play out from the beginning.
Whoa.
Which is why he's able to write all the names in the book of life, in that book of life, from before creation, so that everybody will have an opportunity to leave their name in or have it blotted out. So he knows everything that's going to happen. But he lets that free choice that he provides not only to humans but to angels to play out and to fully indict themselves. And that's what the fallen angels do, the Nephilim. They fully indict themselves with the crimes they're going to commit after the rebellion against humankind. So what do? If this day 6 scenario, as I'm setting forth, is accurate, is they are going to corrupt all of the day 6 people and lead them away from God and justify their rebellion. That's what they're looking for, a legal play, in my opinion, to create some sort of truce, treaty. We can have the earth rule on our own and away from God. But God knows this is going to happen, lets them indict themselves, and restarts.
With Adam.
With Adam.
Okay.
And it's an MO that continues to play out. It restarts again after the flood. It restarts again after Babel.
Yeah. Okay. You mentioned Hermes earlier. So you have, it seems to have a hierarchy. So you have the parent gods, the offspring gods, and then the demigods underneath that, correct? Which demigods would be half god, half human?
Yes. So
like Nephilim?
Just a quick clarification on that. So the offspring gods would have been lower in rank when the parent gods ruled. They move up because they're all part of the Saba, Hebrew Saba for host of heaven. Means an army of angels, rank and order.
Mm-hmm.
So they are not offspring of the gods as the allegory comes down. It's just that's used to create the story. And so they can't create their own angels. They can create demigods, but they can't create their own angels.
Got it.
And so demigods are the offspring, it's understood in the ancient definition as the offspring of a god and a human female, or a goddess and a human male.
So Genesis 6.
Yes, so Genesis 6. Demigods are giants.
Would Hercules fit the bill for this?
Yes, he is son of Zeus and Alcmene after the flood.
Zeus being equal to Baal?
Zeus being equal to Baal, who creates Rephaim after the flood.
Raphaim is a Nephilim after the flood?
Raphaim is a tribe of giants and a generic name for giants, and derived from one of the many names of Baal. He has several names. Baal also means Lord God, which is why it's taken in by the secret societies. For husband God, you could also define it as. But Baal also creates, and the Baalim Council create other giants as well. So when we look at the demigods that are talked about in the Ugaritic text, they're members of the assembly of the Detanu. And what's interesting, I'll take it back to Greek now.
Okay.
The Detanu are the giant tribes. And there are other nations of giants as well, like GBR is a tribe in the Ugaritic text that Gibberim derives from in Semitic, and others. I won't go through all of them, but there's lots of tribes there. In Middle Eastern languages, there's a similarity from the original founding, even with the confusion of the languages, and the D and the T is has a different sound in multiple languages. So the god Aten would be in Hebrew Adon. Instead of T, it's a D. And that can be used in multiple different ways as it comes out. So when we say the word Datan or Datanu for the assembly, that's Hebrew in the Bible, Dadan. Okay? Same word. And Hebrew comes out of Semitic. Now, how that's transliterated into Greek is not with two D's, but with two T's, where Datanu has a D and a T, right? So now you get Titan.
Yes.
There are Titans of heaven, and there are Titans of the earth. Fallen angels, the demigods.
Got it. Hermes. Wasn't Hermes an Egyptian god that was like a record keeper? Or are there multiple?
Yeah, Hermes is more demigod than God. He becomes a god through his knowledge. So he'd be understood in Greek as not only as Hermes, but as Mercury as well.
Okay.
It's the same god. And in Egypt, he'd also be understood as Thoth, the god Thoth, the god of wisdom.
Right. Okay. Thoth.
I've heard of people channeling that god actually specifically. That's interesting.
Well, yeah, and again, if we look at things that happen in modern times, the book of 3rd Enoch says that Enoch, son of Cain, had his name changed to Metatron when he became an angel. He was raised to godlike status from a polytheist, and this is a polytheist doctrine, 3rd Enoch.
Not to be confused with 1 Enoch,
yeah,
which is different, correct?
Which would be, so 2 Enochs in the Bible. Enoch, son of Cain, Enoch, son of Jared, one of the Seth line, one of the Cainite line. They both write scripture. They're both important patriarchs, and they get conflated a lot of times. And so Metatron is the one that is communicating much of the knowledge as to what people writing algorithms and working on AI and high technology, who they receive that knowledge from.
Yikes.
Metatron is the root for the metaverse.
Mommy, can you crack my back? Mommy, can you crack my back?
Our cause
Mommy, can you crack my back?
is the cause of all mankind.
A long day can be a lot longer when your dog has digestive upsets. Hill's Prescription Diet GI Nutrition helps support digestive.
Okay, well there, I have to make a decision now. To go down that trail.
Sorry about that.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down and we're gonna come back to it.
Oh my God.
Because I don't want to get lost in the
There's so many rabbit
the
holes.
sauce.
Yeah.
Wait, can I ask?
Yeah.
So are you saying, it sounds like, I'm trying to make a distinction. You're saying culturally it was understood, but I'm also wanting to understand the
He got a big beard.
mechanics of, like, is that actually
Oh,
true?
he
Like
got a
saying there's a
big
person
beard.
that, you said Hermes became a god.
Yes.
Is there stuff in the Bible or anything like that that makes that, like, possible? Like, is there something that they could have done to breed with the Nephilim enough that that would have been, like, a legitimate thing to void their rights as even like a human, or is it just like it's like a cultural thing?
It's a cultural, religious, polytheist thing.
Like a belief?
Like a belief, a doctrine, a constitutional doctrine of polytheism that being a god is made up of two things. One is having unlimited knowledge. That's the knowledge aspect. The other one would be to be immortal. So if they're going to create human gods in the end time to take the mark of the beast, they're going to have to provide both, right? If they want people to buy into that. Why would I join you to fight the God of the Bible? Because I can be God of the physical universe.
Which is transhumanism.
Is part of it, yeah. Certainly part of it. Just to give you a sort of an understanding of that. And so this is a very special case of somebody who is receiving most of the knowledge from the fallen angels or the gods, that is using this knowledge to become greater than what he is. Typically a demigod. In the Hermes tradition, though, there's a Trismegistus aspect that's attached to it, which means 3 Hermes. Typically the Hermes mythos has 3 individuals there. Depending on which version, there's 2 versions. One has 2 before the flood, 1 after. The other one has 1 before the flood and 2 after. So in the version before, you would have the God aspect that is providing the knowledge. So in this case, Azazel, or chief god, would be providing most of that knowledge. And the head priest that receives the knowledge, that starts the Zoroastrian or Enochian mysticism before the flood. And then in the other version, you have one that's before the flood. Traditionally, it would be Enoch, son of Cain, or Hermes as one individual. And then you would have a Hermes after the flood who finds the 2 pillars of the ancient knowledge, takes it to Nimrod, and then another one that's related downstream in Egypt for alchemy. This has, with the Eastern Zoroastrian version, with Zoroaster, who inherits the mythos and where the religion comes from. And originally, Zoroaster is a giant named Garamud before the flood. It takes the name sort of patronymically. I won't go through all of the etymology on this. And then it starts the religion of before the flood, and then you have one that's shortly after the flood that sometimes is associated with Ham. In some mythology is Chem Zarathustra. And then you have a Zoroaster, 2 versions again, sometimes around 1200 BC, sometimes 600 BC, according to secular history, that starts the Zoroastrian religions, but it's all that ancient religion. So understand, in polytheism, there's a lot of allegory. All 3 characters are real, all may not be gods.
Who's coming in the driveway?
My daughter is being treated for leukemia.
Oh, that's what this is.
I hope that she lives a long, great, happy life, and that she will never forget how Mom and Daddy love her.
I'm like, why does this look like a different stage?
This is what's keeping my baby girl alive.
I'm like, I recognize this, but I don't know where I recognize it from. It's because it's Hawkins.
By supporting St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. For just $19 a month, you'll help us continue the life-saving research and treatment these kids need now and in the future.
I'm like, half of it looks kind of weird.
I have so much gratitude for
like
St.
he was
Jude.
asking me why it was snowing, and I'm like, I don't know how to answer that.
When your kid is hurting,
because it doesn't quite look like snow to me, but it kind of does.
That's the worst feeling in the world.
So this is the Hawkins leading up to what? Because that shit, I forget that shit's supposed to come out in a couple days.
Those that donate to St. Jude, I hope that you will continue to give. They have done so much for me and my family.
Join with your debit or credit card now, and we'll send you this St. Jude t-shirt that you can proudly wear.
Están salvando vidas. Y la vida de mi hija es una de ellas.
When we came here, we didn't know what tomorrow would hold.
We didn't know what
Gotcha.
tomorrow
So would it be
hold.
safe? Okay, sorry. Do you see the delineation I'm trying to make between like what's culturally believed versus what we know to actually?
Yeah, they weren't real gods, is what you're trying to say. They were the definition of God, according to the polytheistic narrative, would be different than our Christian interpretation of
God of the Bible.
God of the Bible,
Sure.
and the fallen angels,
Yes.
which were described as deified figures with special physical abilities. And
Yeah, the gods of polytheism are fallen angels.
Yes.
That's.
But if you can,
But the offspring are demigods. They're not real gods.
right?
They're lesser beings created with some immortal aspects, which is why life was removed to be immortal in a physical body in Genesis 6:3.
That's when I started realizing the more I looked into this stuff, the more I'm like, a lot of these people that are doing a lot of this stuff is just fallen angel worship. That's part of the reason why I
So let's
was
take
like,
the example of Hermes. So basically,
I thought that name was
Hermes
cool
was a
until I
human that was believed to have transformed into a god.
did more
So
research
technically
into
Hermes
Elohim,
died,
and I'm like, oh,
but is what happened?
no.
Is it like his legend just lived
Elohim
on?
means
and they
Eloah.
said he was still, like,
It's
he
like-
still was like a real god.
It's a plural word for Eloah, which means the ascended bright ones. Like you're talking about fallen angels.
Got it.
Right.
And that's why I'm like, I could still use
I have a
that
question
Superman
because you brought
S,
up Nimrod.
but I ain't gonna do
Nimrod, was
all
he
that
a
with the name.
demigod?
Well, the language is a little bit unclear. We have the lineage from Cush suggesting he's human. But
Right.
something changes. Nimrod became a mighty one. Nimrod, Kal-El, Gibor. He became a mighty one. Gibor is the singular for Gibborim.
But see,
Kal-El
that explains why I
means
was so
to
attached to that name, though.
Change somehow.
Because
Ritually through the process. Perhaps sexually.
that people is in our
perhaps
lineage.
Some way, but
That-
he breaks his vow. He breaks
That's
his
in
covenant.
that guy is in our
changes with
lineage. That's why I was
Could
like,
be the knowledge
oh,
being
okay.
brought by Hermes
I'm attached to this
to
name.
him
I don't know
according
why
to
I'm
the
so attached to
polytheist.
this name.
What's interesting about Kal-El, that sounds familiar. Think about superheroes and understand giants were called heroes. Superman. I mean, we get Clark Kent, but
So this whole
I mean,
time,
his name is Kal-El.
I'm getting
His
pop.
mother is
I'm getting
Jor-El
Funko Pops
of
and
the
building
house
a
of El. And El
ancestral
was a
altar. I didn't
demigod,
know.
parent god of Baal. Both created giants, one before the flood, one after the flood.
So Nimrod, it seems like
That
took
that
the same
Funko
path
Pop.
as
The more
both.
Funko Pops I
in
got,
that
I
he
was
was a human that
accidentally
became something more.
doing an ancestral altar. The more
Which is
stuff
why
that I
he's
looked
so
into,
important
that's what
to
he's
the
saying.
secret societies and Gnostics.
That's why I picked. That's why I changed the name from Kal Elohim, because I figured out. I'm like, oh, this is the Elohim means fallen angel. I'm like, okay, I could still use the word Kal and say Kal, whatever, but I'm not gonna use that full title. And that's why I changed it to Cush, because Cush is the father of Nimrod, and Nimrod is the father of Kal-El, the literal Africans. So that what he's explaining right now about Kal-El is that at some point, Kal-El went through some type of transformation that made him what people thought back then was greater than human. So what I'm saying, bottom line, I'm saying, I'm buying all these damn Funko Pops and these chains in that chain because I was attached to this symbol and this name, and I was not understanding why it was coming to me, and it was feeling like that. And it wasn't just because I liked Superman. It was because these people are in our lineage. So at that point, when I'm getting all these Superman Funko Pops, when I'm getting the Jor-El and all that stuff, and I'm putting it by my bed, and my grandma's over it, this is low-key an ancestral altar without even thinking about it. You get what I'm saying?
Knowledge that Hermes brings that was saved. I won't go through the whole myth here, accounting from the Polychronicon and the history of Freemasonry, but takes that knowledge to build Babel City, to build Babel Tower, antediluvian knowledge that we're still catching up to. And he is recognized as the first Grand Master of Masonry after the flood, who writes the first constitution for the polytheists after the flood.
There's got to be something else. I've thought about this a lot going on at Babel.
Yes, I mean, how does, if you look at what Josephus talks about Babel in the book of Yasher, and then look at what the Bible says, there's something going on there with knowledge that's unaccounted for. Because as one people talking one language, anything they decide they're going to do, they'll be able to do. Well, where does that knowledge come from? I mean, the one language doesn't do that. Maybe it allows for cooperation, but we know how long it takes to develop knowledge through our history.
Yeah.
It wouldn't explode into something crazy, but yet he starts a rebellion against God. And in the outside biblical accounts, we have him climbing the ziggurat and threatening God, saying, if you get out of line again and try and bring the flood again, I'm going to go into heaven and I'm going to kill you. I mean, not only is the language archetypically Antichrist with the narcissism, but to think building with mud bricks, you could somehow get into heaven and do
something
so,
else going on.
he'd have to be absolutely insane or something else is going on.
Mm-hmm.
So in Hebrew, the definition for Babel is confusion of languages, because that's what happens. But that name is also transliterated into Sumerian, and they have accounts of the Babel account. And in the Akkadian accounts, and in the Armenian accounts, and in the Aztec accounts in Central, they have accounts of Babel. And in the Akkadian one, you get a nugget that is priceless. That they do not define Babalu. ILU is a transliteration for El, just as Baal is, for an angel or a god, as in Baal is Lord God. Babalu, you have God at the end, just as El would be on, might be the original.
We were talking about that the other day. I was like, if you could make, because they got flaming hot naked, they're putting out naked Doritos and naked flaming hot Cheetos, and I'm like, if you could do that the whole time, you could have did it. You should have did it a long time ago.
They call them Simply, so we thought that maybe they weren't frying them. Nope, it's the same Cheetos. It's the same thing. Stop. Who's the baby bear? Who's the baby bear?
Instead of just shopping at a different store, because majority of the stuff at Aldi is dye-free anyway.
See, they did it because they're a European company, German company, so
Yeah, so they don't allow some stuff.
putting all that craziness inside of the food.
I got it.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
You're so strong. So strong.
Wait, Grandma, you're not yummy?
Now everybody pour it. Look at them.
My digestive tract is cleaner than yours because I shop for clean foods.
The funny thing is, it's always poor people talking about that's where poor people shop. It's never the rich folk. The rich folk is going to Aldi and all that stuff. It's never. They go into places with the deals. It's the poor folk that don't got no damn money, that ain't trying to save no money, that's trying to kill all their money. That's the ones like, oh, only poor people shop there. And I don't want to feel like that.
Yeah. Cheetos. These are white cheddar Cheetos. I don't know why they didn't just make white cheddar Cheetos in the first place. Because it's still cheese.
Doritos.
Doritos? These are white cheddar nachos. And what was the point? If you could pick regular cheddar on there, why you just make a white cheddar option in the first place? Tastes good? Let me see. That still tastes good. They're cheesy.
They're cheesy. Daddy, you taste.
Okay.
They're easy.
I believe you.
No. It's easy too. Okay, Andra. Okay, Andra. That is easy. Mommy, what is wrong?
Fucker.
And Bath means a portal or stargate, or something to that effect. Now you have a portal or stargate of the god. So if that was a technology, as people speculate and postulate that ziggurats, towers, and pyramids were and why they were created, now we're talking about technology we still don't have that was delivered to them, that was antediluvian knowledge that would permit them to go into another dimension. You know, just as CERN is trying to go into other dimensions with quantum computing and AI and all the other things that they're combining in with that technology. So he would now have the ability to do two things. He could actually go into heaven and have a war in heaven, as Antichrist does in Daniel 8, but he doesn't, because of it's not permitted to finish, and that's because that's reserved for the end time. But he also would have the ability to go into Sheol or Hades, where the pit prison is located, to release the gods that he's worshiping and let them out, just as in the end time, that's reserved for the pit prison in Revelation 9, just before the midpoint of the last 7 years to be opened. So he's a typical Antichrist type figure, where something changes with him in a position where he has control over all of the Noahites, Adamites, putting one universal religion on him, and wants to bring about a war with heaven. It's an archetype for the end time and other things that play down through history.
Which is also prophesied in regards to the Antichrist, because isn't it in Revelation something that this figure will become somehow raised from the dead or healed or something?
Well, he receives a mortal head wound.
Right.
Mortal, he dies.
And then reincarnates or comes back.
Yeah, so what happens we don't know. But there's some sort of technology or ability to do that with this individual, and he's also associated with the one that comes up out of the pit in Revelation 17. So there's probably a correlation there that he's going to be either possessed by demons, disembodied spirits of giants to do that, just as demons come out of his mouth in Revelation 16, or Azazel, who would be the leader, Abaddon Apollyon, coming out of the pit prison, might be avataring in him, being able to do it. Or you could also interpret that in 2 Thessalonians 2, and in Revelation 13, where he receives the power from the dragon. Dragon could be a seraphim angel, as in Azazel, as in Satan himself, as a serpent and a dragon, as he's described in Revelation 12, as well as a cherubim. He has multiple aspects. For people that are checking the facts on me here, he's also an archangel. He's also a morning star order, and a few other ones, just to get some of those on the table.
Covering all your tracks here.
Yeah, well, just so that people know that I'm not sort of just making it up as I go here. So, but in 2 Thessalonians 2, he receives all of his power from Satan. So it could be both as well that are influencing Lord Maitreya, which is Lord Mithra, as you take that from Sanskrit and into the Avestan Old Persian language, and that Mitra is just another name for Azazel. And just as this, I won't spend too long on this rabbit trail, but it's kind of interesting. The god that the Templars worshipped, that started all of our modern secret societies as we have them today, as that one base central organization before it was taken down, worshipped Baphomet, means Father Mitra.
Pretty good, Jack.
I was just writing that down. That is very.
You're gonna fact check them?
No, that is. If people would like to know a fun fact about the show, if I'm on my phone, it means I'm writing down material to put in the trailer.
Okay, so we have Nimrod, who's an Antichrist figure.
Yes.
We seem to have a lot of these through history. I won't ask you to speculate on who would be an Antichrist figure today, but when you look at the Third Reich, World War II, we have another Antichrist figure that seems to fit the archetypical pattern for somebody who wants to basically cause mass destruction and chaos. And
and it's such a fascinating look at World War II and Adolf Hitler in that sort of comparison. So, one of the things that National Socialism does and the secret societies do in conjunction to form National Socialism, creating a religion out of theosophy, which is an extension out of Gnosticism that goes rogue as Ariosophy or Aryan theosophy. You have this altar of Zeus that gets discovered in, say, 1870 or so, in that zone, and it's going to end up in Berlin as this Greek altar. And so that's rather odd that they would prize that and then create a special museum for that. That's the altar that would be comparative, that would be set up as Antiochus did, Epiphanes did, in about 180 to 200 BC, as recorded in the Maccabees of the KJV Apocrypha, where you have an abomination type of thing that is going to happen in the end time with Antichrist, that Jesus prophesies, to go see Daniel and learn all about.
And what about his cape?
And so you have this
Okay, there.
coming together of religion, secret societies, and a political movement that is going to create something unique. And they, as I say, they create their own Reichschurch, their own religion. And so,
Overdrive.
What?
Solo leveling. Overdrive.
One of the things that the National Socialists, and they're called the National Socialist Workers Party,
that could
Nazis,
take care of you.
people who don't think this
Whoa,
isn't socialism,
it looks so
that
great.
is some right-wing thing.
Whoa, those are awesome.
That's
Houston.
Progressivism redefining history, so that we don't understand that progressivism was the Western form of National Socialism that had to go back underground after World War II for obvious reasons.
Is anyone blind?
Until they could rewrite history and resurface again.
And what is that today? I'm trying to connect the dots on that.
Well, when you see politics
Are you playing the spooky place?
Yep.
Yep, you are?
Yeah, I'm playing in Hawkins.
Hawkins?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It's the place from Stranger Things.
Uh-huh. And a sapling, what did you...
Come on, bro.
What is it?
yet. But typically communism, socialism, and all of those types of movements are left-wing movements, including anarchism. It all comes out of social masonry created by the secret societies that was used to bring down, through communism, the virus nation bloodlines that included, went out of Russia and in China as a couple examples. I won't spend time on that because that's a different rabbit hole. But understand that this is the National Socialism that is created to offset communism that goes rogue in Russia and funded by the secret societies and the bankers and the Bushes and all of those other ones with the pseudo blue bloods in North America. So as we start to contemplate what this new religious geopolitical party is, it's quite a mix. And one of the artists that the Nazis and Adolf Hitler in particular likes is Wagner. And he actually goes to a Wagner play before the announcement of the Reichschurch in 1933. And between him and a few other writers, you get this leader name coming out of that's going to be assigned to him called Führer. Mm-hmm. Right? Yep. And that's what he adopts as this leader, as this Antichrist type figure. Mm. So Hitler is imagining something called the Third Reich. It has a German history of Reichs that were trying to be established, but Reich is a 1,000-year reign. He is trying to create a millennium, a counterfeit millennium, just as Antichrist will promise that as his new age. And so he's going to go on a march of destruction to try and take over the world militarily so that he can introduce his religion on the whole world. So what does Antichrist do in the end time? You have one universal religion that comes first with Babylon and then is replaced by Antichrist, puts his own religion in that the fathers don't know. That last part comes out of Daniel 11. And he's going to take over the Seventh Empire, become the Eighth Empire, start of the last 7 years with the Seventh Empire of 10 kings. So he is going about things in the same way Antichrist does. And he's going to try and create genocide that we understand as Holocaust against the Jewish people and all the people that follow God. And he's going to extend that to other genocidal targets as well. He's just dealing with priority number one, even though he's doing some of that on the side anyways with other peoples. And so we're going to have persecution of the church in the end time.
With Dupixent, stay ahead of your child's moderate to severe eczema with clearer skin and less itch. The #1 prescribed biologic by dermatologists and allergists helps heal their skin from within. Severe allergic reactions, including skin reactions, can occur. Get help right away for face, mouth, tongue, or throat swelling, wheezing, or trouble breathing. Tell your doctor of new or worsening eye problems like eye pain or vision changes, skin symptoms, joint aches and pain, or a parasitic infection. Don't change or stop other treatments without talking to your doctor. Ask your child's doctor about Dupixent.
Right? So you see another analogy. You see a rampant rise in technology that is not explained by secular historians. What do I mean by that? Well, you have a bankrupt nation that he takes over that's going to become the most powerful nation less than 10 years from there. And he's going to start World War II. And so
he creates a blitzkrieg strategy, and all the weapons haven't even been invented for that yet. Right? It's a futuristic strategy not been introduced that he's going to introduce as he starts to invade other countries. So you're going to have technology that goes with this. So they start with things like the Tiger tank.
That's crazy.
She said she has 77 pairs of Jimmy shoes.
Mommy, I got the gummies. The gummies from this bag.
And then she said she has that daughter now that looks just like her. So she kept the wardrobe and put it in storage, and now her daughter's almost old enough to wear shoes. Probably like at least a good 10 pairs of those shoes that are never going to be remade again.
That doesn't make any sense. It's smart though.
The only fields that are excluded are graduate nursing programs, physician assistants, nurse practitioners, physical therapists, and I wanted to say
And the Panzer tank. Well, that's still the same profile that's used to this day for tanks. That low profile. And
perfectly balanced, fast.
Yeah, and has a power to destroy with its weaponry far above and at longer distances than any other tank in the world. It is so far beyond the technology being used in Russia, the US, England, allies around the world, that if they had enough time and could produce enough, that in itself would win them the war. But they don't stop there. They start creating the jet engine. Comes out of nowhere. Nobody else is developing this. and they don't have enough time to develop it. But if they could develop enough of an air force, they would win the war and would have knocked off England fairly quickly. They almost beat them doing that with using the Messerschmitt over the Spitfire. But this would give them a technological edge, given enough time to produce enough that they could win. But they don't stop there. They create missiles and the rocket technology that we use for the NASA project that was all sort of gathered up in Operation Paperclip after World War II. And they're creating this bell-shaped thing that we don't know what it is. We have documentation on it. We have some references to it, but it seemed to be some high level of technology that people speculate that might be part of interdimensional travel. And it's the same shape as you see on shapes on religious buildings all through India. That can't be a coincidence, especially when you get their swastika comes out of Eastern religions that they adopted into it from Hinduism and Buddhism. And so you have this technology that is rapidly ramping them up that the Allies don't have. Where does this information come from? Well, what they say is through, and this is where you get the connections back to the religion and to the secret societies, that the adepts of those organizations were the leaders with the secret society.
Mommy, I share with everyone with my parents. And they're all gone.
The other ones were the daughters. This is the old religion coming back. This is the original sort of version that will be put into place. And so you have this template to understand history through the daughters of Babylon, each of the beast empires. If people aren't familiar with who the beast empires are, we get them listed in Daniel 7 with Babylon is the first one. It isn't the first one, but the first one that's named. Babylon, followed by Persia, Medes, Greece, Rome, And before that, you would have had Assyria and Egypt. And then you'll have the end time empire. So you'll have 7 of those of the empires. And that each of those empires will have an interrelationship with Israel and Judah. Just as Israel comes into a nation inside of Egypt, as Assyria does the first dispersion. I won't go.
Y'all motherfuckers saw hard as a bitch too. Thank you, bro. Thank you. That's Jew shit. He just called me for the feature. I was all too happy to jump on this shit. Y'all motherfuckers saw hard as a bitch too. Thank you, bro. Thank you. That's Jew shit. He just called me for the feature. I was all. And niggas trying to say I switched up. No, I'm your bro, man. And niggas. Y'all motherfuckers saw hard as a bitch too. Thank.
How come if you're a Muslim you bless yourself instead of having other people bless you?
Oh, you like that, brother? Did we do our thing? I love that motherfucker. Because the first day, soon as I seen that picture, I was like, first of all.
You bless yourself instead of you old enough to say it. Bless yourself. Don't let nobody bless you. She said, "What did I tell you when to tell you what to say when you sneeze, you donkey?" Why did they use donkey as a
Okay. Okay.
They're
Balaam.
all gone.
How many times have I told you the story of Balaam?
Oh, donkey. He a donkey. I guess I need a little bit more.
I was going to do your feet. That's why I saved it.
Huh?
I was going to do your feet too. That's why I saved the rest of it.
I was supposed to fill my cup up, but got only in my cup. I'm like, all right, let's just rub this in here. That sweet sauce just
that shit the fuck out of my face. What?
You got the nerve to go outside and in some bell bottom jeans, some boot cut jeans.
You got anything going on tomorrow?
No. It's Saturday.
Yeah, I didn't know if y'all had plans because I'm gonna get that oil change in the car.
Okay.
Grandma, you're right there.
If I wake up early, I will go.
Why are you following your head to me?
You think I'm gonna like go to the bathroom and sit and eat?
You're following me. Why are you following me, yo? Why are you following my head around?
Why are you moving your head around?
Why are you eating noodles?
Oh, I want to. Why do you always ask why?
We already have noodles.
Why do you ask why? You don't know?
She's not in there. In the living room, she's eating.
You're still mad? I'm really sorry.
There is no ice cream.
I think it's time. We do have ice cream.
That's not my ice cream to give out.
Don't you dare.
Manacopia. Excuse me.
No.
Intrapot. Your green spot. Get out of the pantry, Saturn. I'm actually a robot. I'm a real robot. Are you a robot too? Say beep boop boop. Beep boop 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 boop. Let's go. Come on. Let's go, Saturn bot. Go that way, Saturn bot.
They're not ghosts anymore.
Beep boop boop boop. Beep boop.
Sneak video because nobody knew that bitch was on the way. Right. Y'all motherfuckers been in on that goddamn song. Second of all, I'm like, yo. I was like, bro, that's the move, I'm telling you. I heard that joke, and then I'm like, yo, these niggas is coming at you. And y'all motherfuckers so hard as a bitch, too. Thank you, bro. Thank you. That's you. Shit, he just called me for the feature. I was all too happy to jump on this shit. It was the perfect feature though, because y'all sound like y'all had something to say. It was definitely an inspired track. We was definitely trying to, you know what it is. We always trying to speak to the culture. Hey, y'all take this out to somebody. Oh, dear. I mean, if you want to know the truth about it, I wasn't taking shots at nobody in particular. But I was taking shots at a certain archetype. It's a type of motherfucker that I'm personally tired of. Like, it ain't nobody, it's a type. It's a type nigga. It's type niggas out this job. That's all. You know what I'm saying? It ain't no one motherfucker. It's like some niggas just move a certain way, and that shit needs to stop. It's weird. Y'all niggas came with that shit. You be like, I know they talk about something. I know y'all want to talk about. And y'all motherfuckers all hard as a bitch too.
Where are you going?
Come on, robot. Angel.
You're a robot. Hi, baby. Spanakopia. And the air fryer bot.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. That's juice.
Everybody out of the kitchen.
If I could get 100.
What the heck was that?
Y'all motherfuckers all hard as a bitch, dude. Thank you, bro. Thank you. That's juice shit. Yes, in Greek.
Because they're not the same chicken nuggets you're used to eating. Bro, she's eating chicken. What you eat is not real chicken. If you eat the same chicken she eats, you are going to get sick. You are going to throw that stuff up, brother.
Excuse me.
You are not built for that type of thing.
Excuse me, you're falling. You're falling to that. Go to work. Yeah, go to there. Yo. Daddy, you almost full. Wait, you actually got staff? Wait. There's those to race with? Ooh, why is there trash on the ground? Whoa. Whoa. Oh, I think there are a fish? Yo, that's a fish. Yo. Yum. Yum. Now, you can take that. What? He's destroying the tired seats. No! Daddy, you destroyed the seats. How dare you?
I didn't destroy the seats. They destroyed the seats.
Why they destroy the seats?
Because they were looking for something and it wasn't in there because I had already picked up all the guns.
And they some noodles. Okay.
Poop. You don't go sit your tail down. Poop.
Okay. Why are you eating chicken? And what happened to the chickens?
Got burnt.
They got burned?
Good high.
They got burned?
Sugar and the sauce on it. You might realize how long I was leaving either.
Mommy, Sonic boom! Yo.
Psych.
I'm back.
That's us here on control.
Oh my God. No, I don't want box.
Can you believe? We're not watching Sonic today. Sorry, broski.
Let me go.
Stupid. She thought you was going to pop up behind me and I wasn't going to hear you. Stupid. I'm not talking to you.
Oh, alright. That's what I thought. Unless you wanted a fight or something. You wanna duke it out, fam? You can do it.
I'm trying to duke nothing out.
No.
Pull up to the window, Duke. I forget the shit existed for a second. Why are you? It don't even got an R in it.
Y'all need to chill out. I know, but you need to take a breath.
He didn't even do that.
Sonic.
Yes, in Greek.
in Greek. Hey, y'all motherfuckers saw. I wake up every morning and roll me a blunt.
Golden Reach. Golden Reach.
Hey, y'all motherfuckers saw hard as a bitch, too. Thank you, bro. Thank you. That's juice shit. He just called me for the future. I was all too happy to jump on the shit. Y'all motherfuckers went in on that goddamn song. You like that, Bretta? Did we do our thing? I love that motherfucker. Cause the first thing, as soon as I seen that bitch, I was like, first of all,
Hey, Mommy, look.
hey, y'all motherfuckers saw.
It means this for the TV. Why it means this? I'm gonna order. It got it. It was gone again. It's gone again.
Oh, man.
Y'all motherfuckers saw hard as a bitch, too. Thank you, bro. Thank you. That's juice shit. He just called me for the future. I was all too happy to jump on the Y'all motherfuckers went in on that goddamn song. You like that, Bretta? Did we do our thing? Y'all motherfuckers went in on that goddamn song. You like? I love that motherfucker. Hey, y'all motherfuckers saw hard.
No, thank you. No, thank you.
Mommy.
Hey, y'all motherfuckers saw hard as a
Popped up Angel and
bitch, too. Thank you, bro. Thank you. That's juice shit. He just called me for the future. I was all too happy to jump on the shit. It was the perfect pizza. Motherfuckers saw hard as a bitch, too. Because y'all sound like, damn. Where are you at, Will? Anytime, love it, must be like for.
Go through each of the things as the curses of the covenant start coming down with all of the beast empires. But Rome is the last one that does the diaspora of the southern kingdom of the Judeans, as still in place today, except that now we have Israel, people, at least a remnant of them in Israel as we approach the end time. So each of these empires you would have had like a Nebuchadnezzar, a terrible one. He is the terrible of nations as he's described. A terrible one, Eretim in Ezekiel 32. These are those ones that are so terrible and did such terrible things to humankind. They were put into the sides of the pit prison along with the strong El. So you have the angels and the disembodied spirits of the giants talking to another terrible one that's an antichrist type figure as Pharaoh, who would in that historical period be Necho, and talking about this whole scenario. And this is the time of Nebuchadnezzar, the terrible of nations of the beast empire, who's going to come and destroy all of the nations and set up that beast empire. So you have beast empire, have antichrist figures in each of them, whether or not you want to look at Alexander, who would be the one that's in Daniel 8. And you can also get the 7 beast empires and the 8th coming out of that as it lines up with Revelation 17. Same count, Alexander, 4 notable ones that get split into 4 empires. Rome is part of that. Rome succeeds. Rome is the revised empire and then the 8th empire. So you get the same number, just more information. No contradiction, just different allegory. And so when we look at Antichrist figures, you could look at Julius Caesar as possibly an Antichrist figure who had declared himself a god, right? As well as Nebuchadnezzar. So you have these empires that Michael fights against.
yours and get out. Get your money, take your winnings, and go home.
You know, right here lately, I just been focused on like three things. One is handling my own business. Two is enjoying life. And three is staying the fuck out the way. You dig? Check. Dog, I be outside, but I ain't nothing like the masses. Y'all don't ruffle feathers, but y'all asses. Can't see what I'm doing, get some glasses. I be preaching on these tracks, but y'all niggas slow like molasses. Then niggas try and say I switched up. Nah, I'm your bro, man, and nigga, you're a grown man. I'm trying to be my own man. I'm done trying to mediate. Niggas have problems, then I feel so bad. I come through and try to integrate. I don't make problems, I don't delegate. Lil Juice try to treat people right, hoping that it resonate. Trying to get my paper right, been working on my real estate and spitting on this track. Shit, I salivate. Shitting on them like it's Metamucil. If you shake me, I don't activate. Cause disrespect is something I don't tolerate. I know I've been gone for a minute, but it's weighing on my conscience. They waiting on me to return Dwayne Johnson. This ain't wrestling, but I'm better than all you veterans. I'm eloquent, my penmanship, I'm in my element. And I ain't arrogant, but if I'm lying, it ain't prevalent. Cleaning out my closet, but I still ain't found no skeleton. I ain't perfect, but I'm doing excellent. Considering a black man is stifled by the government. And I'm developing, cause you know my ego's a little delicate. But Lil Juice nice, don't insult my intelligence.
I ain't got time today, so please don't bother me. I'm trying to stay out the way. I'm on my grind for pay, and I got more rhymes to say. You better stay out the way. I ain't got time today, so please don't bother me. I'm trying to stay out the way. I'm on my grind for pay, and I got more rhymes to say. You better stay out the way. Think just cause they rhyme to a beat that is hip hop, but they don't practice what they preaching this week, so it is not. Distracted from the fact they don't say shit when they rap. They claim to stand 10 flat, but ain't no spine in they back. Sure, we wanna support good business when we know that it's black, but don't orbit my solar system if your soul ain't intact. Complicit is not ambitious. This business is so vindictive. Your bigoted narcissism be predicting the crash. Matter of fact, it's been too long since I spazzed. They know Nexus, that Anunnaki nigga honing his craft. Then he sits on the highest council with one foot up your ass. The other one's up on the dash, all gas, no break. I gotta keep something that's up in the stash. Yeah, that's all day. Like riding a roller coaster while you rolling a jet. We make music to motivate. You just be making mistakes. You ain't willing to ruffle fellas. Stay the fuck out the way. I ain't got time today, so please don't bother me. I'm trying to stay out the way. I'm on my grind for pay, and I got more rhymes to say. You better stay out the way. I ain't got time today, so please don't bother me. I'm trying to stay out the way. I'm on my grind for pay, and I got more rhymes to say. You better stay out the way.
Bunch of sneak dissing and weak battling. Heavy coke make a boat float, so keep paddling. Coupe come with 500 horses, I keep saddling.
Hey, dude, if you get yours, get yours. Get yours and get out. Get your money, take your winnings, and go home.
That went with it, and so I was standing there just kind of like, well, you had the gods of Baal. You have in the Old Testament, there's gods everywhere that people worship. And so my question to my wife, Heather, was like, well, I wonder what parts of this are true. And she was like, well, Gary Wayne's coming to town. And I was like, dude, here's what I want to know. I want to know with Greek mythology. I can't, this is why Taylor needs to do the interviewing. But my biggest question that I would love to answer with this show is like, what parts of Greek mythology are real? What parts are just completely maybe made up, or because it seems like they're different culture to culture, because some of the experts they were saying in one culture Greek mythology looks like this, and in another culture it's like this, and these gods did this. So I'm like, there is truth somewhere, and that's part of the hardest parts of the show is how do we get down to the truth of what's real?
Yeah, it's such a good question, because you can take that to not almost all of the ancient cultures, that we have an oral tradition that starts in prehistory, and then it slowly starts to transition to some written history. And so prehistory is mostly an oral tradition, and so it's done in a way that's done in an interesting sort of narrative or a story. And so Herodotus in
Just because I played that video, I'm going to talk about this, and I'm going to talk about it in a very roundabout way, but I'm going to talk about it. Like Nexus said, when Rich did the interview with him, right? Rich is doing the interview with him. He said, "Are you and Juice going at somebody on this song?" Because it does sound like it could be, if you were that type of person, that you could take it there. You know what I'm saying? Like you could catch it and all that. But it's like, it might not be necessarily about anyone specific, but it's about a person. Like there's songs where I've wrote songs like that too, where it's like, hey, yeah, no, you might have made me feel some type of way as an archetype of a person. There's people that'll make you feel a type of way, and then you start writing music, and as an archetype of a person, those archetype of people bother you. Now, I say that to say this. These archetype of people are all over fucking with the same people over and over and over again. And then and the funny thing is, they'll keep messing with you whether you out the way or not. But it's like, yeah, it's still good. It's great to hear somebody going, oh yeah, let me give them a warning, because everybody feels that same type of way. Because I think everybody's feeling that way about these archetype of people, because it's a specific archetype of people that they're talking about. These people that got something to say about you, whether you're in their face or not in their face, all the time. You get what I'm saying? Like, and like he said, he keyed in on a certain line where he's like, people be having people. He said, but nigga, you're a grown man. Go and be your own man. I'm trying to be my own man. To paraphrase it, like, I'm not. I'm me, and you're you. So I'm tired of picking up these issues for you every 10 seconds. And you gotta go, oh, and I gotta come out of my way because I wanna do music with you because we were supposed to be friends or something. And because every time I turn around, you have a problem with somebody else. And now I'm trying to mediate this issue in the middle. Like Juice is saying, it's been a million times where there's people that I've worked with, like, around the city, you know what I'm saying? That either it's like, okay, they got an issue, or with somebody else that we talk to. What's wrong with you? Somebody else that we talk to, or it's like they might have an issue with me and not an issue with OZ, or they might have an issue with Juice and not an issue with me, or, you know, one of the three, right? But Will, as the people that are trying to mediate these things, because we like everybody, are trying to mediate these things. And that's where I was like, I keep telling them, I told Juice and OZ that shit a little while ago, right before we started the whole high council thing, is that I'm done doing that shit. I'm done. Is, you know how many times people done dragged us into some bullshit for no reason that didn't have shit to do with us, just because we're around? Stop spitting. Just because we're around, and just because we're trying to, you know what I'm saying, be around everybody and be cool with everybody. It's like the whole year of the live thing, where we're doing the live for a whole year almost every day. Nigga, no. Stop. It was we're trying to be cool with everybody, trying to make everybody think, and it dragged people dragged us into issues with people we shouldn't have had issues with, people that we probably would have got along with if it wasn't for the fact that this person had an issue with this person, and they're trying to go, oh, you should you should pick a side in this because of this, that, and the third. But doing that behind the scenes too, not doing it out loud. You know what I'm saying? Like when I was talking to people about certain ways that they were moving during shit, I was saying that shit out loud on the live. If you're saying this and you're sitting with these people doing this stuff, then why would you come around and play in this? And then some of those people that I talked to about that, even after that, I've had conversations with them and I go, oh, that's why you were doing that. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, thanks. Now I know. I'm sorry. I apologize for taking it that way because I shouldn't have checked you because you was really just reacting to the energy that was given to you. So it's like, how many times do people try to mediate for somebody or somebody that you supposedly love in between, or you like, you know what I'm saying, in between situations? Because it even comes down to take it outside of the music scene. When it comes down to, just like, how many times do you try to mediate between certain people for other stuff? Where it's like, hey, you know, after a while, this person keeps just bringing problems out of nowhere. Keeps popping up with problems.
I said what I was looking for was locked.
This person keeps popping up with problems, and they're gonna keep having problems no matter what, and it really don't got nothing to do with nobody else at this point. It's because these people ain't really happy with themselves, so then they're walking around, and like Nexus said, it's creating these issues where there really aren't any issues. So now the archetype of person that they're talking about is really this miserable person who's just angry at the world because they have whatever they got going on. And whatever they got going on is so much more important than what everybody else got going on. So they're just like, oh, I have to walk around comparing some shit. Let me walk around comparing a lifestyle to somebody else's lifestyle, and it's like, yeah, nah, not everybody's in the best position. The stuff that you're talking about really might not make sense in their life. The stuff that you're trying to do might not make sense to them necessarily, and it might. It's like, what's right for you ain't right for me. And the same thing where they say, what you eat don't make me shit, for real. That's where it's like, so the problem inherently becomes where I think Juice and Nexus are keying it in, and I can't speak for them, but this is the vibe that I'm getting if I'm having a similar thought process, is that when it comes to music, right, there's people that are doing music, like Nexus even said it at the beginning of his verse. Just because you rap over a beat doesn't mean that you really singing anything. It doesn't mean that you're a rapper just because you say you're a rapper. It's you want to be this, and everybody, like, even Rich said it on one of his stories a couple of weeks ago. He said, there's niggas around here that'll sit in your face and act like, oh yeah, we want everybody to be together. We want everybody to be together. Everything should be, oh yeah, I'm trying to push unity, and I'm one of the only people that's pushing unity around here. And then the whole time, you're the one who's competing with everybody. You're the only one who's competing with everybody. And if you're not competing directly, you're trying to set other people up to compete. And it's like, yeah, that's weird. That's weirdo shit. That's weirdo shit. It gets to a point where it's like, yeah, and that's why if people wonder why I'm like I said, why I stopped going to the open mic, why I stopped popping up, why we all collectively stopped doing the live for real. It's because of that. It's because of weirdo shit. It's specifically with like it was like people were like when we were doing the live, people were like, oh man, you got to keep doing the live, and they're not understanding the energetic toll that was going on. Can you stop screaming? They're not understanding the energetic toll that was going on everybody to upkeep it. And I'm like, yeah, it comes to a point where that's cool, right? But then there's other people that aren't doing what we're doing, ain't taking the sacrifices that we're taking, talking about, oh, y'all are doing a good job. You're really doing a good job for us. For us, nigga. Who's us? Who the fuck is us, my nigga? Who are you talking about? What did you do? What did you do? What are we doing for who, my nigga? We're doing what for what? For us? What are you even talking about? Are you even thinking rationally about this right now? For us? For us, and it's funny that it's the same people that's for us when they see somebody drop something or somebody in the motion of doing something, then it's all of a sudden, oh, I don't know why y'all are doing that. I don't know why you doing that. I don't even know why you're wasting your time over there. Yeah. It's like you wanna be a part of it when it's something that benefits or you feel like could benefit you, but you don't want to put the work in to be around or add anything to this situation. And that's why we were like, yeah, you know what? High Council. Because we all know, all three of us, and the people that we trust that come around us that are our day one friends are going to come and put into this situation. They're going to come and uplift this situation. They're going to come sit at the table and add ideas and say, hey, I think we should do this. I think we should do this. This will elevate this. This will make this greater. Okay, and then we're all going to help each other because that's how we work. But there was too many other weird ass niggas that was in this like equation that were acting like, oh yeah, we need to do this. I can't wait to do this. Y'all need to do this for us. Huh? Who's us? What are we doing for us? We can do this for us? Us three? That's how I see it. This is when like Stephen asked Juice at the studio one time and I just started laughing. And it wasn't because I didn't agree with him, it was just because it was funny the way he worded it.
Our notebook.
Cause
Notebook and pencil.
Stevens used to seeing us. Can you stop talking while I'm talking to your mom? Thank you. Walk away.
Who we going to question first?
Stevens used to seeing us come to his studio as Sin City. So when we went with just me, Juice, and OZ, he's like, "Oh, y'all gonna get everybody else on this tape, or is it just y'all? Like, what's going on?" And he was just genuinely curious, and Juice was like, "Is it because? Oh no, don't let me not misquote him. He said, "Are y'all gonna get the rest of the group on this?" Because he's used to seeing us as that group. So, and that's nothing. And this is not a shot because I know I'm gonna clip this part at least and put it up. It's not a shot at Sin City because everybody that was part of Sin City was cool and it was solid, and they're still on this next project because they came to the studio, at least most of them. But Juice said, "This is the group." At least in my eyes, this is the group, because it is. That's what it is. That's why we structured it that way, because it's like, oh yeah, this is the penultimate group. Whether we can put it at, like I was telling Gordon, I was like, so, and that's why I know the niggas that know ain't gonna take it no way like that, because I was talking to Gordon about it. And I'm like, that's what the High Council shit was about, so that we can have our shit. And then everybody else is still we're still part of these other things without it being confused on where it stands. So if anybody is to come around the High Council and is close to the High Council or a High Council member, you know it's all love. But don't let it be a situation like Nexus. Nexus is Juice's homeboy. I still haven't even met Nexus in real life. But I know I'll fuck with him just because off the strength of Juice. So it's like we're trying to get him and Chief to come to the studio and be on one of the songs for the project too before we finish it. So we can have the whole Anunnaki Council on a song because they the Anunnaki and we the High Council. So it all kind of ties in. But it's like Nexus, Gordon, all of the people that was part of Sin City that was on the stuff. Yeah, y'all are cool, but let anybody outside of this table talk crazy to anybody that's not from somebody else's table. Yeah, we don't give a fuck about y'all. I don't give a fuck about that. I'm not choosing nobody else. I'm not choosing nobody's side over the people that are sitting with us and the lazy boys.
Do you know a Forrest Lawson?
No. Was it a real person that popped up on the TV?
Yeah. And mommy,
Forrest Lawson.
Mommy, he had a haircut like Dr. Eggman.
And he had a ginger beard. Yeah.
Oh hell no.
I think
Popped up on the TV randomly?
Yeah.
And
Like, how?
And
nobody knows. That's why we're investigating. This is our investigation.
Is that the phone that be trying to connect to this TV all the time?
No, this was in the paper lab at George Mason. So we're investigating.
Oh.
So we have to find a guy named Forrest and question him.
And he have a haircut, just like Dr. Eggman.
Look is on Facebook.
He's from Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh, we could look him up on Facebook. That's a good idea. Let's go look him up on Facebook.
Yeah, but if you're not sitting at this table, I don't care. Ain't nobody else helping us put the studio time together so we can record these songs. And y'all ain't nobody else helping us think about visual concepts. Ain't nobody else helping us push us like we're pushing us. So come on, man. It be the motherfuckers that do the least for you that be fitting into that archetype of that nigga.
Forrest Lawson, we've come to investigate the strange appearance of the Eggman lookalike who popped up in a paper lab. Try to see if you have any information about him. You can ask him a question.
And he had a haircut, just like Dr. Eggman. And wearing it solves the mystery. And defeat that guy. And Saturn will take those angles and find him.
What?
Because I told him, and then if somebody pop out the TV, I'm going to get him a pie, he's going to get him a blow, and the Saturn's going to bite his ankles.
You hear the pie? Saturn hear the blow?
Yeah, like you fitting into an archetype of a person that thinks they're somebody. And that's the only person. That's where I'm like, last time I was sitting with Juice at his house talking to his dad, we were talking about that type of shit. It's like, yeah, I'm like, I'll literally make a song, just making a song, just talking about what's on my mind. And then there's somebody out there that I'll hear a week later talking about, oh, I think he's dissing me. I think he's this. I think they're dissing me. Nah, bro, ain't nobody dissing you. And if you sitting here running around, yeah, if you're sitting here running around feeling some type of way about something that I said on a song when I wasn't even considering you as a person that takes up air and space on this planet, you have another problem and you need to talk to somebody about it. But it don't got nothing to do with me.
Daddy, where's that clowny head?
He's gone.
He's gone?
Yeah.
Where'd he go?
Somebody beat him.
Somebody
Yeah.
beat him?
Yeah, you're that. I'm not thinking about nobody else when I'm writing the song. But like you said, if the shoe fit, lace that motherfucker up, run down the street with it a couple times, and act like it. Because obviously you know that some of these things and some of these actions pertain to you. Because if somebody runs down the street and yells, "You a bitch," I'm not the one that's going to turn around. What? Who you call? Right. Who you calling a bitch? Bitch ass nigga.
And sometimes, even if the dog ain't hit, I'm still gonna holler at the bitch. Who the fuck is you talking to?
I'm not the nigga that does that. You walk down the street calling niggas bitches and shit. That's the nigga that's like, "All you niggas in here is pussy." Who? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that, brother. I don't know, brother. I can't help you with your mental health problems. You having mental health problems, and that's what it is. But that's where I'm saying it's an archetype, like he's saying, it's an archetype of nigga. There is like 6 or 7 of these goofy niggas that I've ran into in my passes as an artist. It's like
and see if he's at the end of that missing
me rapping somehow, me rapping and doing music somehow encroaches on you doing music, and that doesn't make sense. I've been doing music since I was 13. If that was if it was a problem then why didn't we have a problem when I was 13? Like, why didn't I have a problem when I was 13? When I was 20, 23, 24, and I was putting the freestyle out on Facebook every week, I didn't have nobody doing goofy shit like that. So how come all of a sudden it's like certain people, you get in their circumference and they feel like they know who you are, and we're not in the same stratosphere, brother. We don't even do the same thing. It's like Nexus said, just because you rap over a beat does not mean that you do the same thing as niggas like me. Sorry. And if you do, then you're grossly underestimating what the fuck I'm talking about on these songs. You're not even hearing what I'm saying if you think we're in the same category. Your mind don't even work to process what I'm saying.
Dr. Eggman stole the paper from the George Mason paper lab. Oh my goodness. Are you going to get on the case? Yes. Can you use your super speed to track him down?
Yeah, you still on the old iMac, the first Mac computer that came out that looked like a clamshell, and we like up here on some quantum physics lab shit, and you thinking because it sounds like close to some shit you said that it's even close, and it's it's like, no, the speaker on your shit's busted. It's not moving. The subtitles ain't moving fast enough for you to read this, brother.
Mommy, we got the paper. It said, "Dear Sonic, I will destroy you."
Oh my gosh. Who's destroying Sonic?
What?
Who's Robin?
What?
Saturn, the destroyer of Sonic.
Yeah, he's the destroyer of Sonic. Okay.
We solved the mystery.
It's like that one song we did with Alan Mike. There's gonna be somebody that listens to that song and thinks that I'm just naming liquors. Like, oh, he's just naming liquors off. This is dumb. But I can get her mo wet at the concert with my amigos. I can see it clearer than some Tito's. She my ace of spades. She go everywhere that we go. Ciroc nasty drinking. She a freako. That ain't really me though.
Why are people still drinking Ciroc?
I never drink Ciroc. But double entendre, homophone. The whole first part of the verse is that. Double entendre and it's on homophones. This sounds like this, but it means this. This feels like this, but it means this. Cause yeah, Ciroc nasty. Yeah, them niggas is nasty at Diddy's house. She a freako. That ain't really me. I don't need all that. I'm not with all that. What y'all got going on at the crib?
I thought you guys already investigated that.
We gotta find a new mystery.
A new mystery. Okay.
A new mystery to solve.
I think Sonic was sneaking inside our house, switching things.
Yeah, he's right here. Into the phone.
I think he was.
They're calling you.
Sonic's another imposter. Hello?
But these niggas don't really even write. Half the problem is some of these people started rapping because they thought it was easy and somebody told them, oh yeah, you could do it. You could probably do it.
My thing is, if you can't do poetry, you can't rap.
And no, my problem is some people think they can do poetry and can't do poetry. Let's be real. You know how many whack ass poets are walking down the street and going to the same places where I'm talking about we going. Well, going to the same places that we going. Doing. And the cheese fell off of my sandwich. And I knew that I had to go get a can from the pantry and make me some sandwich. You know what I'm talking about? Sloppy Joes. There are people that come to these events doing stuff like that. Like you're not even a real poet. You were writing this and trying to get it published. And nobody stopped you and said, hey, dude, stop. This is probably not for you. That's the problem. So when we get into it even deeper, this is where the line goes with the rap, where it's like, oh yeah, nah. These cats have somebody sitting around them that's going, oh, this is great. Put this out. This is good. You should do that. Or they're letting their family listen to it, and their family's like, oh, we're just happy your retarded ass is doing something. And don't cancel me for the R word, because I seen somebody get... I'm not ableist. I'm talking about able people that are acting mentally incapable of moving. Like, we just happy your slow ass is doing something. Because we was worried. We were worried that you didn't even have hobbies. Like, oh, we so proud of you, baby. We so proud of you. You special. You chosen. God made you.
You have a mission.
You ain't.
Just hate because you guys skip the earth.
Yeah, you supposed to do something out here, baby. Now go out there and do some charity work for the people. Like, nah, bruh. Yeah, you is the charity work. Everybody else is working the charity, dealing with you and listening to that bullshit.
No. We're solving the mystery. What do you mean? That old man just escaped from our jail.
He doesn't know where escaped from jail. Quick, gotta lock him up.
What do you mean? Lock him up again. Daddy, why is everything in the
Put the
floor?
costume in the toilet.
Okay.
Saturn's toes.
Okay.
That's your toes, yes. Where's your nose?
But you want us to think that, oh yeah, we're...
Angel's toes.
Okay, we even solved this mystery.
Oh my goodness, he's Sonic.
that you're gonna be the one that helps me out with your stupid ass. You can't even help yourself out. It's the same shit. It come down to what I'm saying. That's why I was like, I'm like, even if we're not, like, that's why I said, me, Ozzy, and Juice, we could not be close to each other, not be together, not be around, not speak, and we all will write about the same shit, and that's what makes the shit make sense. Because, like I said, playoff mindset. It's these niggas that be talking about that money. It's funny. We never seen shit. You got some paper, you should go and get your teeth fixed. Ran himself ragged out here chasing down a square with some cheese ain't nothing but a cheese it. You just a cheesy ass square. Crunchy at that. Crunchy and dusty. Salty too, because you know they got the little salt crystals on that motherfucker. You salty ass, cheesy ass nigga. People don't realize that. Like the money, like people always say, money does not make you real. And clothes can't unlame you. It don't matter if you make 100,000, 100 million, $100. If you're a real nigga, you're a real nigga. You was gonna be that, regardless of how much is in your pocket. You get to 100,000 and you're lame, you gonna be a lame for the rest of your life. It don't really matter. You're probably gonna get lamer because you got money in that, and now you think that the money is an excuse to be lame. It's like half the streamers that I don't watch. Because of that, like there's people that'll shoot at DDG thinking that DDG is doing that. I think DDG is just a regular cat. DDG's just a regular cat, and his personality is what his personality is. It wouldn't. Because if you watch carefully, he's the same nigga. His personality has not changed since he was broke in college. So the fact that people like, oh, you only do this because you got money and you be stunting on niggas. The nigga was talking to niggas the same way when he was in the college dorm room. Yeah, and that nigga's he's gonna be him. So I'm like, I fuck with DDG and I will watch DDG because he's him. And that's not to say Kai's not or anybody else. Like Speed, I watch Kai and Speed too. But there's niggas like, you said what?
I think Kai sold himself a little bit too far.
Yeah, he got a lot of stuff to keep up with. It's hard to really be like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard to not pretend to be a person after you got so many endorsements. You kind of have to not do anything. Like, you're so worried about what the endorsement needs and what the endorsement says. So that's where I'm like, I can't take nothing away from brother. You're doing what you got to do to get your money. But with some of these other cats that are just regular streamers, you're lame. And you're going to be a lame till lame lames. And shit, let's be real with the rappers. There are rappers that do some super lame shit. It's like, okay, so for example, I watched not DDG, but it was Deshae. Deshae had a stream where Lil Yachty's on there. Now, first of all, I really don't have a problem personally with Lil Yachty. I just don't like how he moves sometimes. Like, I don't have a problem with you as a person. I just think the way that you carry yourself and how you talk to other people really is lame. It's kind of lame sometimes. Huh? Yeah, it's lame. It's like all the stuff with Kara, it's like, it's kind of, that shit ain't making you look good, brother. It really ain't making you look good. Because I used to like Yachty when he first came out, but the more I saw of his personality outside of the music, the less I liked it. I'm like, yeah. Like, the shit with Kara was already corny from jump. Then what made it cornier is to see this white girl come out dissing her, and then a week later, here comes you and her on a song. That's weird. That's some shit females do. Like, and that's not to call him no bitch or nothing, but it was weird. That's it's not. It wasn't given. Yeah, it was like that's how girls do. Like, oh, well, you don't like her either? Okay, let's click up. And then the funny thing is, the white girl ends up looking lame because Kara drops the text messages of them talking about her in a group chat and how he's saying, oh yeah, she's just all coochie and legs. Georgiana, Yachty said that about her in a group chat with the Concrete Boys. So you doing that after you were cooking her ass in a group chat?
After she was on an interview talking about, my last relationship made me so bad I lost all my ass. And he talking about she should legs. It's crazy.
So and they were in the comments, and that's the problem is like she made herself look lame doing that too, because it's like, yo, and I like her music. She's cool, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. I think she's funny when she's in the videos. But she made herself look lame because she's responding to comments. They're like, why would you even be on a song after he was cooking you like that? And she's saying, I didn't know that till after we did the song and shot the video. And that's fucked up. That makes him look even lamer for doing it. Like, oh, so you went around her and pretended like you didn't say this. Like you weren't like, what the fuck and who the fuck is that? So it's like, yeah, no, that's a little lame. But then the Shay and Baby Rich thing put the nail in the coffin for me.
I don't know what you're talking about. What happened? What happened? Where am I?
Cause he went on the Shay shit, and Baby Rich dropped the album that day. So Deshay's like, hey, I want to have you react to these songs or whatever. So whole time, I didn't know that Baby Rich and Deshay and DDG had a song already. What the hell? The light skinned homeboy with the braids or the dreads, the fat nigga that was on the show. But huh? No, that's Yachty's homeboy. I'm talking about DDG's homeboy, Baby Rich. So yeah, so DDG already has a song with Baby Rich. They went on, when Yachty went on Kai, and Kai was reacting to songs. And he pulled up this DDG jump with Baby Rich. And he reacts to it, and Yachty says, that was garbage. That was trash. And he's like, and I'm not talking about DDG's verse. So this is prior to you coming to this house. And you know that this man lives here. Or at least you should. Can you shut up about an old man? Shh. I've heard the description 8 times. Yeah, or at least you should know that he lives here, and you're not paying attention to that he lives here. You pretend like you never heard this man's music before, and you then you react to it for this time, right? So as you're reacting to it, you're like, oh, that sounds good. But then he goes further, and you could have just left it at that, brother. Why you ain't just leave it at that? Could have left it at that and said, oh, that sounded all right. But instead, you go out your way to say, but nothing that he's saying on that song will ever be relatable to anybody. Yeah. Because he's talking about designers. And he's like, well, yeah, I remember when we first started out, not saying that this guy just started out or something, or he sounds bad, because I don't know how long he's been rapping or whatever. But when I first started out, all we rapped about was how broke we were. And he was like, now y'all kind of have a leg up about where you guys can rap about being rich. And that don't make, and I'm like, okay, so what is the song good or not, bro? I hear a lot of talking about nothing. Yeah. So then he goes on further to say all that bullshit, and then here comes Baby Rich, because Baby Rich is watching it live. He comes in and he's like, what's up with that? Like, what's up with that? And then now Yachty's like, oh, let me backtrack. I didn't mean it like that. Trying to save face, because I don't think he ever expected anybody to get in his face like that. So then it reminded me of when him and Joe Budden were on daggone Complex. And he checked, and Joe Budden checked him on that shit, on the same type of behavior. And everybody act like Joe Budden was tripping. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, no. I'm like, at that point, I thought maybe Joe Budden was being a little harsh. But now, I'm like, thinking back on this clip, I'm like, he wasn't being harsh. He was really just saying what he was supposed to say, and everybody took it that wrong. Because I think he read him early.
Tell me what you want from hip hop.
I don't know. I mean,
you don't think that's a question you should answer at some point?
What do I want from hip hop?
Or are you leaving all of this to QC to figure out?
Nah, I mean, I'm making music, bro. I'm just having fun. You know what I'm saying? My fans love it.
You have a problem with just having fun in 5 years.
What did you want from hip hop?
You're going to have a big problem with just having fun. You don't sound like you very aware with what's going on, and you one of the hottest on earth.
What do you want me to say? You want me to say?
I want you to be aware of your business. I want you to know whether you're in a 360 or not. I want you to appreciate the culture that changed your life and took you from college dorm rooms, eating oodles and noodles. I want you who's well-spoken and articulates himself well.
My nigga. Chill.
Yeah, hold on. Yo, wait. Tell me what you want from hip hop.
So what did he say was wrong right there? Yeah, because like what I said, the way you deliver that about Baby Rich, right? Like Baby Rich explained to you, you're not understanding how much clout your word has at the point you're at. So when you say, oh, this is trash, now it's turning people off from coming to look at my music. And now people are coming on my shit talking about Yachty said your shit was trash. So, and he's like, and afterwards he's like, I didn't think about it like that. I never thought about it like that. What's Joe Budden saying? Think about what you got going on. I want you to be more aware of what's going on in the culture you're a part of, and know what you're doing when you're doing it. Because like he said, you're too articulate and you're too smart to be just going and shitting on people on streams and thinking that you were never gonna meet this person or it was never gonna affect their music. What you thought Kai was playing you somebody random? Why would Kai play you a random person? What?
Trump passed the bill saying that cigarettes is gonna go up $100 a box. I hope that was just rage bait, because it's gonna be some real withdrawing nicotine using people out here in these streets, and they can't get one cigarette. Oh, you might as well just kiss the presidency goodbye right now.
Yeah, the whole South gonna rise again for over tobacco prices.
What's he got against R.J. Reynolds?
What's R.J. Reynolds?
They make a lot of money.
Who is that? Tobacco?
Yeah. Big tobacco.
I mean, they might have pissed that man off.
I hope it's just rage bait. Because they're about to have a whole bunch of people. There's some lady out in, what is it, South Carolina, North Carolina? They pulled up on some white women at her house. I don't know why ICE is pulling up at white people houses. Like y'all don't know. They ain't got their stuff registered and whatnot. White people always got their stuff registered. But they pulled up at her house and she had her phone out and pulled a pum on them. What, North Carolina is a open carry? Yeah.
And if she would have shot him for pulling up to her house, that's on them at that point. She don't know who y'all are.
Like, these fools don't know that. And then somebody else, they pulled up to somebody's house in New Jersey, and she was cussing them out on the Ring camera. Like, sir, I know my rights. I know what the law is. Y'all need to get off my porch.
The perch.
She said, if you don't have a warrant signed by a judge, get off of my porch.
Now you're gonna make me want to get a purple deck.
What?
A purple deck and call it the perch.
Shut up. You want some water?
He was walking and stealing our Spider-Man.
Oh my goodness.
These here have been my family's lands since ever I could yonder. Mr. Sassafras.
Shut up. Get off my perch.
What the fuck is this? Look at this shit.
And what?
Okay.
What the fuck is this shit?
Does it shoot all of them at once?
We'll see. I ain't sure
It
that.
looks like the trigger's all tied to the same thing. Yeah, I do. That's crazy. That's also very disgusting that they would make something like that. Yeah, he was pissing it. When I read how many like different ways that they really just stand, the government is just standing in a circle in a whole bunch of different Spider-Man suits pointing the finger at each other.
Yeah.
Why ain't we burned everything down? Oh, the president can't do this because he doesn't have the jurisdiction to do it. But if this person says that he can do it, he can do it. But they want to do something else, and they're blaming this person for not passing this. And then they keep, the main thing that they keep putting all over the internet is them blaming the Democrats. And we already know that,
It's not y'all blaming the Democrats for that. The Democrats is doing.
There's not enough Democrats for y'all to be blaming the stuff that's being passed. And half of these people are so old that they don't give a damn anyway. The fact that Congress is sitting in there and falling asleep. Y'all supposed to be listening to bills, huh? Y'all supposed to be actively waiting and listening to what they're talking about. Oh yeah, sounds good. And you heard the one little piece that applies to you. And not everything else. Imagine how many family of Congress women and men have gone no contact because you passed something that applies to them.
Yeah.
And you didn't care because you heard the one thing that applies to you.
He was walking and stealing my skin, and he was putting on it. And he was,
Yeah, I don't know,
out the
man.
door. Then,
I don't know what they're gonna do over there, and the year ain't even over yet.
No.
Spider-Man wasn't stolen.
Because with the midterms is in what, February?
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that.
We saw him.
And then they just made a vote to remove what's it? A&T? What's it? A&M?
I think he took it.
A&M, AM,
What?
PM.
I think it's North Carolina.
Oh, North Carolina, A&T.
Yeah. They just voted to remove them from being a part of the electoral vote, and they're the largest HBCU. So you know it's gonna be a can of bullshit.
Yeah.
You're the largest HBCU, and they took every single electoral vote from you. You can't vote no more.
That's ridiculous.
You don't count. Cause they saw how they came out for the vote that just happened.
Mm-hmm.
Everything, almost everything flipped.
That's why California redrew their lines.
Okay.
Virginia redrew theirs too.
The Republicans redrawn lines everywhere. California's like, we're gonna redraw some lines too.
Yeah. Virginia redrew their lines too about ahead of that stuff, and people were like, "Oh, this is why the lady won," and it's like, no. She won because you got black people and Hispanic people to vote for a CIA agent over a black woman because that black woman was sorely misqualified for that.
She was so disrespectful.
Yeah.
Her tone was terrible. As the more commercials came up, and she was just so rabidly evil and nasty.
Who's going around
like,
here for
I
like
would vote for her for anything, for dog
Yeah.
culture.
For like a week. I'm speaking.
I'm speaking. And then we watched the debate with her. I'm like, yo, this woman's stupid too. On top of that, she's not even just. It wasn't even just the tone. She's an idiot.
She doesn't even know what she looks like.
Mommy, take care of it.
And then she puts it in her ads like it was a good thing. Nobody appreciated your attitude.
No. She was talking to her crazy, and then they tried, and then I'm like, they were trying to get that guy to beat Jay Jones by over them text messages, and I was like, yeah, he probably shouldn't have sent them text messages off, but
Shouldn't have said that. No. But what are you eating? When you take things out of context, there's a lot of things that people could say that people said.
yeah, but let's be honest. What did they say for the Republican young Republican nationalist group chat that leaked too, and they said a lot worse stuff than Jay Jones said, and they were like, "Oh, it's just kids, stop. It's just," and it's like, no, they ain't just kids. They was grown men.
Throw them in the jail.
It's a lot of stuff that they've been acting like don't really matter. It don't matter till it matters to them for real at this point.
And they gonna die before it apply to them, so they don't really care.
Yeah.
Before it actually starts becoming active.
That's what I said. We need to stop. I think it's that's why they put the net on it the way it is, where it's like you have to have a certain amount of money to run for office, and then you have to be a certain age, because they know if there was a young, smart, charismatic person running, a lot of stuff would change, and a lot of stuff. Yeah.
New York.
Well, the thing is, it's not an old person's job, and it never has been an old person's job. But when Biden and Trump are running, and I'm like, and people are asking me about them, I'm like, they're both too old for the job.
But we said Bernie Sanders was too old for the job too, and he's in better. Yeah, and he's in better state of mind and better health than both of them.
But people marked on his age, but these two, they let them run, and it's like, you two are too old for this job.
This man is literally walking around with a shit bag, like getting on planes in a catheter, walking around. That's Trump right now, walking around with a catheter and a Foley, walking around here, getting on planes, to the point where the British royal family was like, yeah, make sure there's lots of perfume in there so we can just keep spraying it because we know what he's going to smell like. Yeah.
And even the people from the representatives from the United States were saying that he has a nasty, foul smell to him.
Wow.
They call it a demonic smell, according to the British folks. Demonic smell.
Well,
how stinky you gotta be to call it demonic. How funky you gotta be.
Yeah, for somebody to be like, yeah, this is from the depths of hell. Get out of here.
Yeah, like all the, and then that's why I was like, the crazy part is we ain't never seen a president's annual physical report ever.
No, yeah.
Now all of a sudden you posting it on social media.
I just want you guys to know.
Trump is in great health. No, he's not, because if he was, you wouldn't have told us.
Yes. Yeah.
It's too many clips of him walking around not knowing where he's at, showing early signs of dementia. When he said, "Oh, Melania couldn't be here. She really wanted to be here, and I'll send you my love," and she's standing right next to him.
Or
yeah.
Or what you said at the football game Insert name here.
Yeah, insert name here. He's at the Detroit Lions game reading off a script and he said, insert name here. I insert name here. Like, you're crashing. You're really not keeping up with, somebody is not handling you correctly because they really shouldn't let you talk. They should have replaced you with a robot if they really wanted us to believe this stuff was coming directly from you.
I mean, and he's never been very bright. So none of the ideas that come out of his mouth are his.
No. That's what I was telling people before he got elected. People were like, Donald Trump doesn't care about anything, about black people. They try to make it about just black people. I'm like, Trump don't care about nobody. Yeah, he cares about making money.
It's like you poor white people who fed into his racist bull crap. He don't care about your poor. He does not care about you.
No. We watched that whole documentary that's on Netflix about him, about his whole life, and how like all the struggles that he had in business trying to get the stuff up in New York, and how he became, how he used the governors and all them and all the people that he used to get the Trump Towers built and all that stuff, and how he's a cutthroat business. He's a cutthroat businessman. That's really all he is. When you really boils down to everything after, and the funny thing is, you had to approve that documentary because you thought it made you look good, and I'm like, yeah, it's kind of weird.
He's really stupid. He's real stupid. The thing is, he used the oligarch money, and so it wasn't a surprise to see him back the Russians. You know what I mean? Because he's been using oligarch money. Nobody rented out those towers.
No.
So how do you build all these office buildings and towers and apartments and nobody moves in?
Yeah, you owe all these people money for a long time. They helped you out, and that's why you're moving the way you're moving. It's the same thing that I said with Biden when he was running. There were certain things that they were doing for Ukraine, and it was only because your son is on the board at one of these companies in Ukraine, and if you fall, the money that you're making off your son and the money that your son's making is gonna go to hell. Then they find his laptop and we find out your son's smoking crack. Now we figure out. Now we're hearing that. Now the rumor going around is that that Putin's got a picture of you and Bill Clinton doing sexual favors. Like this, it's crazy. But yeah, he's a cutthroat. All of it was cutthroat business, and even down to the clip that came back around about the ties. Like, Dad gave me 2 of them Donald Trump ties, and I'm like, they're nice ties. And they wear with certain stuff, you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, I don't like wearing them though, because dude was like, I watched them do the thing. And he's like, they're like, oh, so Jimmy Kimmel was like, are these ties? Is it Jimmy Kimmel or was it?
Sweatshop ties?
Yeah, they're sweatshop ties. He's like, oh yeah, these are made in and the dude picked it up and answered for him. He was like, Taiwan, you're answering too slow. And he's like, oh, so why didn't you make these in America? I would have loved to see these be American-made ties, since you talking all this stuff we were saying about this stuff. It's like, yeah, you're selling watches, like Obama said, you're hawking watches on TV as part of your presidential talks. Yeah, come buy a Trump watch, buy this Trump shoe, buy this Trump hat. Every time you turn around, you're selling us some type of merchandise. And if you pay attention to his net worth has gone up like $600 million since he's been in office this year alone. Come on, man. Y'all trying to get out of a hole. That's really what it is. And that's what Bernie Sanders was saying. Is this the first time we ever seen somebody literally sit in our face and steal our tax money and tell us, hey, no, we don't have no money for y'all. You having a...
They were saying about them SNAP benefits after they actually released them. They only released 90% of the SNAP benefits, and they said, oh, well, I don't have the rest. What do you mean you don't have the rest? Y'all have a contingency fund, adjusted base fund, in case this stuff goes down, and you're talking about you don't have the rest of the funds, so where do funds go?
Yeah,
where'd the money go?
They had a $5 billion contingency plan to make sure that those were paid if the government ever shut down.
So where'd the money go? Who's got the money?
the ballroom that they said that they supposedly wouldn't. No, this wasn't paid for with anybody taxpaying funds. This is paid for with privatized funds. All the gold that they put up to try to make the daggone White House look like the Louvre.
And now he getting sued for demolishing that wing.
He
Yeah.
destroyed a whole wing
Oh,
of the White
a
House.
historic wing.
This is somebody else's property.
A historic
They
wing.
belong to you, dude. This is the United States of America's property. We're his landlords, and he's destroying the place.
A historic wing that not only is, of all wings to pick, you pick the one that means the most to women's rights, because that was the women's wing. A lot of women went into making that wing historic. You're like, yeah, destroy it, whatever. It's like, yeah, he's not getting it. I don't think he's understanding. And a lot of people ain't understanding. That's why I was like saying, I'm like, it's time comes back around, and we start. The more every time I see some stuff, the more I remember all the stuff that I looked at when I was a kid, and then I go back to the videos that I used to watch that made me feel like I was like a radical then, because none of that stuff was going on. And it's like, yeah, now all the stuff that Mandela was saying back in the day makes sense. All of it. Not a drop of it was a lie, and we're still being affected by all the stuff that Mandela said we was being affected by. All the stuff that Che Guevara was saying that they made sure to kill Che Guevara for is looking more and more true every day. Shoot, all the stuff Malcolm was saying is making more sense too. It's all of it's looking like it's what it was looking like. And then the man's mother even said he's an idiot, and if you guys make him a politician, y'all are idiots too, because he doesn't even know how to take care of himself, let alone a country.
His own mother and his sister, who was a licensed psychologist.
Well, she knows crazy.
That he is a narcissistic personality and has a intellectual development delay.
Yeah.
And y'all allow him to do it. And if you could let him continue to do it, then you're stupid.
But that's who he's targeting as his audience, is the people with developmental delays or that aren't smart. That's why he said, smart people don't like me. You're damn right. Because
Thank you.
smart people don't like me because they understand what I'm talking about. There's something wrong with him. It definitely is something wrong with him. But like we said, his target audience is the same people that we was right in Arkansas, right there sitting in Arkansas. People that really don't know no better, don't have the education to know any better, and they're just like, Trump said he's gonna do this for us. It's like he said, we've made so much money from the tariffs, I'm gonna put out a tariff fund, and everybody's gonna get $2,000. Why would you even say that before you made sure that that was clear? Because they damn sure didn't talk about it yet.
He does it all the time. Oh, it's going to give people a little bit of hope. It's going to get them more riled up a little bit, so everybody works a little bit harder. And then I can't really do that.
Yeah, sorry, I couldn't. I tried. The Democrats wouldn't let me. The Democrats are the ones who don't want you to have your money. But I tried.
And the Democrats is like, I don't know where you're getting the money from because you can spend it all.
Muhammad Abu Dhabi. He died like a dog.
He died like a dog?
A beautiful dog.
What? He died? What? Daddy, declare me again.
Died like a dog. A beautiful dog. We ran in there. It was a lot of shooting. They did a lot of shooting.
Sir, the old man has been banished and he will never come back.
He will never come back.
Alright, so can we start talking about
12, listen, in Greek, the term apostolic means apostolos, one who is sent to lay a Christ-centered foundation of the apostles' doctrine. That's what the word apostolic means, one who is sent. Sent to where? A postolic, a continuation. Now, students, for those of you who know rabbinical theology, the term apostolic written from right to left, it then becomes an ancient Persian term that were in the Greek New Testament. From right to left, apostolic becomes silatsopa, not just a Persian term, but a Cyprian term. Well, what is silatsopa? It means one endowed with power to decapitate darkness. Lord have mercy. No one's teaching this. We are ambassadors. The first two letters, capital A, capital M. It was Aaron and Moses who had teamed with their father, Christ himself, the capital I am. So ambassador has an apostolic AM. He or she is foundational. Then the rest of the letters reveals the term ambassador. We are to eviscerate darkness as ambassador. The light of the body is the eye, connected to AM. I am ambassador. Wait a minute. So we are called to eviscerate darkness. That's Matthew 10 and 1. Now, in the text of Luke 9 and 1, what is the first letter of God's divine word, capital I? What is the first letter of the New Testament, capital T? It is written, it is finished, it is done. The capital I is the body of Christ. The capital T is the cross on Calvary, wisdom. Again, quickly, the first letter of the Old Covenant is capital I. The first two letters of the last word of the New Covenant is AM. Oh, that's wisdom. So you connect the I of Genesis 101 to the AM of the last word of God's word. You get I am, just like the other night. So the I am is in you. Allow me to say this as quickly. God wants all of you to take your shoes off. God just spoke to me, see, and said, tell the students to take their shoes off, for the ground they're going to stand on tonight is holy ground. In my conclusion, the evisceration of darkness. Luke 9 and 1 gave them authority and power, power and authority over all devils. There are different types of demons, devils, unclean spirits, foul spirits, evil spirits. And it is so critically important now for us to move into deliverance. I need you guys to get settled. And let's get into a comfortable position. And let's take our shoes off. Not just your shoes, take off your socks. See, obedience is better than sacrifice. He sent them to preach the kingdom of God.